Hey Bob, I think you need to come more often, mate, if you're going to get performances like that, buddy.
I was here 2 weeks ago. I don't know about that. I was there against Brighton.
We'll forget about that one, mate. But on tonight, what a change that was tonight, buddy.
That was a different set of players right there. There was fight, there was passion. They're going into challenges like they want the ball for once, and it's amazing to see.
I mean, it was simple football in the end, wasn't it, mate? It just was a bit more work rate, staying in shape, cutting out silly errors, and you know what? It looked like we were going to create chances against that Liverpool defence, and credit to Ten Hag, he got the tactics pretty much spot on, didn't he, mate?
Yeah, I mean, that was the team. I think next week, maybe 1, maybe 2 changes, Casemiro in, I'd probably start Martial as well, but apart from that, that's the team. I mean, I don't see how Luke Shaw gets in, I don't see how Maguire gets in. That is a fantastic team when it plays like that, when there's fight, when there's passion, that team can play football.
I mean, all 3 of Ten Hag signings in there, Haber, today, mate. I think all of them were superb. Big shout at the start of the game for dropping the players he did and putting the players in. A lot of them playing their first game at Old Trafford, starting the first game, the likes of Malacia. Talk to me about Malacia today, up against Salah, mate. He was on it, wasn't he, pal? I
was nervous, to be fair, because you've got a young lad there who hasn't started a game in the Premier League yet, and you're putting him against one of the best players in world football in Mo Salah right now, and he took the game to Mo Salah. I thought he'd get run over the pitch, and do you know what? There were times where Mo Salah did get the better of him, but that's a world-class footballer, and he looked like he held his own against Mo Salah, and there's not many left-backs in world football that you can say do that. So the fact that lad's come in on his first start at Old Trafford and done that, like, you can't ask for much more. That's just quality.
A centre-back partnership that we've been waiting for, mate, as well. Alongside that, Varane, Martinez, it's got to be the way forward, hasn't it, now?
Oh, 100%. Who would have thought, you take out Maguire and you've got 2 very good centre-backs that play very well together. Like, who'd have thought? It's amazing.
That's it, mate, isn't it? It seemed to be an understanding from the back to the midfield there today as well. It was like, without passing the ball out from the back, we don't seem to have many problems, mate, do we? It's
Absolutely.
Like, if anything, we cause our own problems in this game. It goes to show that we're not quite at that level we need to be, but when you do simplify the game, you can compete, and we can build from that.
Absolutely, and we've still got Casemiro to put into this midfield as well. I think there were a couple of individual errors. I thought Bruno, there was one time in their final third where he held onto the ball a bit too long, and there are times where he throws himself to the ground, stays down for a while looking for a foul. In reality, I need him up and chasing that ball down and winning that second ball. But you can't fault that team for much tonight. That team played really, really well. The midfield really held their own. The defence was quality. I see that midfield really bonding together, especially when you throw in a world-class player like Casemiro. Like, wow.
You said it there, mate, the word team. I can't remember the last time I came out of there thinking, you know what, we weren't great, but we played as a team there tonight, didn't we? That is the basics in the Premier League. I said it myself, I said, you know what, that's the standard, that's the baseline, that's the basic level for the Premier League. And you could tell because we were pulling up with cramp all over. You can see how unfit we are, but if you want to compete in the Premier League, that's what you have to be like against anyone, mate, though, not just Liverpool.
Absolutely, you're not wrong. And I mentioned this before we started filming. I was watching the back 4, and every time they had a challenge, every time they had an interception, a block, a tackle, every time they cleared the ball away from the goal, you've got Varane straight to Martinez, or Martinez straight to Varane. You've got Dalot, the passion there, the fact these guys were playing for each other, the fact that every single time they had a clearance, it's like they just won the game. The reaction was absolutely what we want from our back 4. They were fighting, and we didn't see fight in those first 2 games. So to see that against possibly one of the best teams in the league is phenomenal, and I am so happy that we've seen that tonight.
That's it, mate. Individual performances all over. Collectively, we were great together. Is there a standout for you who's going to take man of the match for you tonight, Haber?
I'm in a toss-up because I think Malacia and Martinez were just absolutely quality. But I also feel like Martial definitely deserves a shout, because that second goal that we scored was fantastic from him. To get that ball, to hold it up, and that ball through to Rashford was unbelievable. So I think, for me, it's a 33.3% to all 3 of those players. They were all fantastic.
You're thirding it out, mate. Yeah. He's thirding it out between them all. Before you finish, mate, obviously, big calls, like I said, for Ten Hag. One of them was Ronaldo. Is it time? What do you reckon now? Is this the way we're going to have to go forward with Ten Hag?
I think that honestly, for the last few years, I think we can safely say we've looked better with a fluid attack. And that attack, whether it be Rashford, Martial and whoever on the right wing, I think the fluid attack is probably the way forward. And with Ronaldo, although he's a world-class striker, I just don't know if he can play in that fluid attack that I think will win us games. I don't want to see him go, and I don't want to see him go on a bad note either. But if that attack's going to play the way it did tonight, I honestly think there's a shout for it to start every single game, and that's with Martial, that's with Rashford, that's with Sancho. And then you add in an Antony or a Gakpo as well, and if they show absolute the promise that they can show, then you're really talking about who's getting dropped. And I don't think that Ronaldo is the first name on my list to start in that game.
Hey Bob, absolute pleasure talking to you, mate, on the United win. Cheers for coming on, mate.
Anytime.